They've siphoned your cash into a web of lies. It's a total betrayal. Let's break it down.
Alex oversees the Administration for Children and Families. Intrepid journalists have made shocking and credible allegations of extensive fraud in Minnesota's child care programs. We believe the state of Minnesota has allowed scammers and fake daycares to siphon millions of taxpayer dollars over the past decade.
My office, ACF, provides Minnesota $185 million in child care funds each year. That money should be helping 19,000 American children, including toddlers and infants. Any dollar stolen by fraudsters is stolen from those children. Yesterday, I spoke directly with the director of the Minnesota Child Care Services Office. She could not tell me with confidence whether those allegations of fraud are isolated or whether there's fraud stretching statewide.
Today, we have taken 3 direct actions against the blatant fraud that seems to be rampant in Minnesota. First, I have activated our Defend the Spend system for all ACF child care payments across America. Starting today, we require a justification, receipt, or photo evidence before we make a payment. Second, I have just signed and sent a demand letter to Governor Walz. I required a full 360 review of these centers. This includes attendance records, licenses, complaints, investigations, and inspections.
And third, we've launched a dedicated fraud reporting hotline and email address at childcare.gov. Whether you're a parent, a provider, a member of the public, we want to hear from you. Let me be crystal clear. ACF expects every state to uphold the highest standards of oversight, monitoring, and accountability for federal dollars. Minnesota is no exception.
We're committed to holding bad actors accountable. Regardless of rank or office, anyone who's involved in perpetrating this fraud against the American people should expect to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
For years, Minnesota has been the poster child for what happens when a state government just stops caring. Under Governor Tim Walz, the Gopher State hasn't just slipped. It's transformed into a literal playground for anyone looking to rip off the American taxpayer. We all remember the Feeding Our Future disaster, a gut punch where over $250 million meant for hungry kids during a literal global crisis just vanished. It was one of the single biggest pandemic frauds in our history. But did they learn? Of course not. Instead of fixing the locks, they left the gates wide open. Now, new reports show the rot didn't stop with food. It crawled its way deep into the child care system. This isn't just some oops moment or a lapse in judgment. It's a total collapse of the social contract. You pay your taxes expecting to help the vulnerable, not to pad the pockets of criminals who see your hard work as a weakness to be exploited. Here's the kicker. The people who finally blew the whistle weren't the high-paid reporters in legacy newsrooms or the state auditors who are paid to notice these things. It was Nick Shirley, an independent guy with a camera and the guts to actually walk the beat. His investigation into these Somali-operated daycares in Minneapolis showed us the reality that the bureaucrats wanted to hide. We're talking empty buildings, ghost kids on the rolls, and millions in grants flowing to places that basically only exist on paper. Shirley's lens caught exactly what state officials were apparently too busy to see. This viral footage didn't just report the news. It stripped away the mask and showed you exactly where your money is going. Now, everyone is asking the same thing. How did one guy with a YouTube channel find what the entire state government missed?
It leaves you with 2 options. Either they are so incompetent it's almost criminal, or they're looking the other way because the political optics of a crackdown didn't fit their narrative. Either way, you're the one paying for it. The response from D.C. has been fast, and honestly, it's about time. The Assistant Secretary for Children and Families just dropped the hammer, announcing an immediate freeze on every single child care payment headed to Minnesota. Think of it as a financial blockade to stop the bleeding before there's nothing left. But they are just hitting pause. From here on out, if Minnesota wants a dime, they're going to have to prove, with actual, hard evidence, that the money is going to a real person. No more taking their word for it. A demand letter just landed on Governor Walz's desk, essentially telling him to account for every single center getting federal cash. They even set up a fraud hotline so the public can start pointing out the scammers. The message is loud and clear. The era of the blank check is dead.
The Department of Health and Human Services is moving to shut down this threat to our treasury, ensuring that the people trying to gut our country from the inside are finally facing the full weight of federal law. As the smoke clears, the political scene in Minnesota is a total mess. This funding freeze was 100% necessary to stop the theft, but it's creating a massive headache for the providers who actually play by the rules. These small business owners, the ones actually helping their neighbors, are now fighting for their lives because the scammers poisoned the well. We're already seeing the left gear up for a legal fight, with Democratic operatives trying every trick in the book to keep the money flowing. But the public? They've had enough of the excuses. People are demanding heads on pikes at the highest levels, including a real look at Governor Walz's role in this massive failure. This isn't just about a few fake daycares anymore. It's about whether this country has any integrity left. We are in a fight between those who want to protect our borders and our budgets, and those who are perfectly fine watching them be torn apart.
Ending.
This report is complete, but the fight is just beginning. Subscribe now to stand with us.